Será que dá mesmo para aprender qualquer coisa na internet? Até mesmo inglês? E será que a internet vai substituir as escolas físicas algum dia? Hi, I'm Karina, this is English in Brazil e hoje eu tenho uma convidada de peso aqui no canal. A Esther é uma especialista, uma expert em educação e tecnologia. Ela já ganhou diversos prêmios por causa do trabalho que ela desenvolve nessa área e também uma professora atuante até hoje. Então eu vou fazer algumas perguntinhas para ela sobre educação, tecnologia e sobre todas essas mudanças que a gente tem vivido hoje em dia. So Esther, thank you very much for being on my channel. It's a big pleasure for me.
I'm very honored to be here. Thank you very much. I'm really impressed with what you're doing and teaching everybody English.
Oh, thank you very much. My first question is actually related to my experience at school, because when I think about me in high school, for example, the first thing that comes to my mind is teachers speaking and students listening. So, do you think something has changed? The world seems to be much more interesting than school. So what do you think about it?
Well, I think the world is more interesting than school, and I think you're right about the fact that teachers are lecturing still. They're still lecturing 80% of the time, maybe 100% of the time, and students are still sitting there looking like they're listening, but actually thinking about what they're going to do this weekend. So we need to change it, and teachers need to realize that it can be much more interesting when students interact. So, and when students actually learn a lot of the stuff online themselves. And that's one of the things that my students do, is that they learn a lot of the things by themselves online, or maybe not by themselves, with their friends. And there's a lot of resources out there for them to learn things, a lot. And they all have it in their pocket, for example. And there's a ton of resources on YouTube. Whenever you want to know how to do something, I mean, whether you're a student or whether you're actually a doctor or whether you're a homeowner or a parent, you can go on YouTube and find a video about it. And you can learn a lot. So schools need to change the way they are teaching, which is one of the reasons why I wrote that book called Moonshots in Education, which I hope will be published in Portuguese, by the way, soon.
Yeah, but my audience can read in English. Yeah, they're learning. They're in the learning process.
If you can learn, right, English, well, it's going to come out in English here. It's actually out in English. You can get it on Amazon, and but I'm going to update it a little bit. It was written 3 years ago, and it's kind of not so surprising that some of the companies that I referenced in that book, well, they have merged, or they've changed, or they're not there in the same form.
And what about the use of cell phones in class? Because actually, there's a law in Rio, it's not a rule, it's a law, saying that students are not allowed to use their cell phones in class. So what do you think about it?
Well, I would like to have like a discussion with your lawmakers and your politicians, because my theory is that it's the responsibility of the schools to teach students how to use their cell phones intelligently and to practice self-restraint. That's the first time that they ever have an opportunity to learn self-restraint and when to use the tool. Instead of banning it, they should have it come to school with the student, and then the teacher should teach them how to use the cell phone intelligently. And then students should regulate themselves. Okay, now I'm actually listening to something or having a conversation with somebody, or we're having lunch or something like that, and so now is not an appropriate time to use it. But there are other times when you can learn a lot more from a cell phone than you can by listening to somebody lecture in class. So I'm sorry, I disagree with your political system here.
So do I. Yeah, but it's important to know how to do it, to learn. And I think that most teachers are kind of lost. Maybe teachers are afraid of being out of control.
Teachers in general, I think the reason that they're so concerned with being in power is that's the way they're taught in schools of education. The number one thing you're taught is how to maintain control. And you're evaluated on that. Can you maintain control? If you aren't maintaining control, then they put you back through another training program, because they're like, you can't just let your kids talk to each other. You know, you can't let them look like they're having a fun conversation. And my answer to that is, Why not? They learn a lot when they talk to each other. They learn a lot when they interact. They should definitely, and they can be talking about your subject, no matter what it is. It's science or math or technology. And so my theory is really very different. I think that it's much more effective for students to learn by doing and by interacting than it is by sitting and listening to somebody tell them about it.
Do you think that because of the importance of YouTube as a source of education nowadays, not only YouTube, but the internet in general, do you think one day regular schools are going to be replaced by the internet?
There is no way regular schools will ever be replaced by the internet because we need a place where students can interact. And education isn't meaningful without interaction. And so while the teacher's role is going to change, it doesn't mean that the teacher will be obsolete. The teacher's role will be more of a coach, somebody on the side who can help you, as opposed to somebody standing up there lecturing to you. So no, schools will never be obsolete.
Now let's talk a little bit about learning a language, because that's the focus of my channel. Do you think you can learn a language on YouTube, for example?
You can definitely learn a language on YouTube, and one of the best things you could do is learn it with a friend. So you practice it, or learn it with somebody that actually speaks the language. But it's hard to learn a language when you're talking to yourself. So it's best if you can even talk to your dog if you want, if you don't have anybody else to talk to.
But I talk to myself in the shower.
Well, you can talk to yourself in the shower, but you can also just interact with other people. That's the most effective way to learn a language. And people that aren't shy or are not afraid of trying out the new language are the ones that learn the fastest. If you're afraid, then it's harder. You can still learn, but it just takes a little bit longer to do it. Yes, you can learn online.
Yeah, and you can subscribe to my channel. Just kidding.
Yes, I think you should.
Thank you. So my last question is, what would you say to Brazilian teachers who want to use technology in class? They know the importance of using technology, but they don't know how to start. They don't know what to do.
I think the first thing that they should do is think about, what are they going to teach tomorrow? And just think about it. And then say, is there a YouTube video out there that teaches that perhaps better than I do? Oh, don't be shy about that. Or equally good to that as I do. So try and figure out what you can do to have your students take control of the learning themselves. Say to them, you find out where you can learn about whatever it is that you're learning about, ecology or how plants grow or something. And let them look up information on their own, independently. The kids will love it, and they will pay attention, and they will learn more effectively. It's the key to making education easier and to making your job as a teacher much easier.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for being on my channel. So, thank you very much, guys. Se gostaram desse vídeo, não esqueçam de clicar em gostei, de se inscrever no English in Brazil e também de acompanhar o vídeo que o professor Rafael Procópio publicou no Matemática Rio. Vou deixar aqui no card. See you next video.
Clica no joinha now.